Welcome back. We go on holiday on Thursday, and I've been trying to get hockey videos done that'll post while I'm on holiday. But this came across my X feed, Twitter feed. Exclusive Orioles announcer Kevin Brown removed from booth for comments on lack of previous wins. There's a clip of Kevin Brown's pregame comments on the Orioles' recent record against the Tampa Bay Rays ahead of a series finale on July 23rd. Sources tell Awful Announcing, so credit to Awful Announcing for finding this. These comments led to Brown's current indefinite suspension from Orioles broadcasts. All he did, I'm not going to play the clip because, copyrights and all that. All he did was say, hey, the Orioles have more wins in Tampa this year than they had the previous 2 years combined. Apparently, ownership of the Orioles decided that was unforgivable, that was unthinkable. How dare you call up recent history? you know, and I hear about this. I hear about this with sports. I've heard it about like the Canucks. I've heard rumors of that if you talk about them in a negative light and you are a beat reporter or you're an announcer of some sort, then you're blackballed. And I don't know how accurate that is. There are other organizations that get this accusation too. The Orioles have been garbage for a while, haven't they? And I say this because haven't they? So this year they're 70-42. They're first in the AL East. 625 is their points percentage for the season. And if at the time this goes live, that's changed. If there's been 6 games today, because I think they play like what, 6 baseball games a day? I don't know. It's a lot. There's 400 games in a season. It's ridiculous. Last year, the Orioles were 83-79, which is a 512 points percentage. They were still fourth in the AL East because the AL East is ridiculous. But it was basically just ass before that. They were 52-110 in 2021. They were 25-35 in 2020. They were 54-108 in 2019, and in 2018 they were 47-115. You don't want your announcer to say, these guys were bad a couple years ago. That's it, you're fired. What positive thing is he supposed to say? That for a team that 2 years ago had their problems, and the fact that he's saying they've won more this year than the previous 2 years combined tells you they're doing better. How dare you say, sir? How dare you? I take that personal. How dare you say the team's getting better? I think now this is a team that hasn't made the playoffs since 2016, and honestly, I'd love to see the Orioles get back in the playoffs because the Orioles, I cheer for underdogs. The Orioles would qualify as an underdog coming out of Baltimore. The Orioles' all-time record against Tampa Bay, 214-234, by a stat that I found online. In the 2020s, they've been 20-37 against Tampa, 7-21 in Tampa. So I don't know if the Orioles are going to try to get this video taken down. 2010s, they were 90-97 against Tampa Bay. They were 40-51 in Tampa Bay. 2000s, they had a good record overall against the Tampa Bay Devil Rays at that point, right? I know my baseball. 94-86 was the record, but in Tampa, they were 41-50. In the 1990s, 10-14 against Tampa Bay. They were actually better in Tampa, 6-6. Now, having followed the Jays as long as I have, there have been large stretches of time where the Jays cannot win in Tampa. And the Tampa Bay Rays, for all of the talk about, stability of that franchise, they're pretty good at home, at least against divisional opponents that I've watched them against. And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, hey, so the team that struggled against them in previous years is doing well against them now. This shouldn't happen. This really shouldn't happen. This is one thing, though, that we could start seeing more of. So I've been talking on the Hockey Channel, I'll talk about it here as well, because it's affecting all the sports. Regional sports networks are in trouble, right? And, of course, the Bally's issue is affecting baseball as much or more than it's affecting hockey. I really should have worn my Padres hat for this, wasn't thinking. But anyway, it's fine. Cthulhu, destruction of the world, sure, because let the world burn, because how dare you say the truth. But if we get to a point in time where, let's say, the NHL, Major League Baseball, NBA, and all these teams are running their own broadcasts, we could see more of this. We could see broadcasts where, like, just imagine now if you're taking over for Kevin Brown. And you know what he said, which was innocuous. There's no F-bombs. There's no anything in there that sounds bad. This is not something that you would hear pregame and say, wow, I can't believe he dropped that, He knows math. Like, I can't, I don't, I don't get it. But this could become more and more of a thing if we see the regional broadcasting networks drop off and teams running their own broadcasts, where an owner could listen to the broadcast and go, they're not quite peppy enough. They got kind of negative when we were down 5-0. I think he should be out of there. They made a joke in the second period. They made a joke in the fifth inning. They made a joke in the third quarter. I didn't like that. I didn't like the joke they told. I didn't like the way that they talked over, we had somebody in for a jersey retirement. They talked over him to talk about the play. And nobody, we really could hit that point where certain owners will say, well, he's got to go. He's not peppy enough. He's not positive enough. The fact that the Baltimore Orioles are doing well this year is great for the Orioles, and it's great for the franchise, and it's great for the fans. So the idea of indefinitely suspending an announcer, so I don't think he'd be getting paid unless he's salaried, which would just be even more ridiculous if he's getting paid to sit at home and not announce the games. And there are definitely franchises in every sport that an announcer would probably enjoy not having to watch all the games and probably enjoy getting paid not to watch them. But the Orioles are not one of those teams, not this year. And I wonder if somebody had said something negative during the 2021 season when they were 52 and 110, would anybody have said anything? Probably not. This is a team that went through some really lean years. Really lean years. Like what Oakland's going through now as they try to go to Vegas. But how does somebody get indefinitely suspended for referencing the team's record? Hey, so they usually struggle in Tampa. Them's fighting words. No, it's just reality. It's reality. So let me know your thoughts. Yeah, I just wanted to put this up. There's one of those things that I just see and I'm like, that seems wrong. And it seems wrong. You cannot suspend an announcer for talking about a team having had previous struggles in a location. You can't. It would be no different than if a starter. I remember looking way back, there was a Blue Jays pitcher, I'm not going to say the name here, but the announcer said, as he came into the game, I would like to tell you about a recent appearance where he's impressed us, but nothing comes to mind. It was funny. It was mean on some level. It was also accurate. And sure enough, he wasn't good. The Jays lost the game. And that was part of the problem. Was that they kept bringing him out the bullpen and he couldn't close out the game. And so should an owner have been able to step in and say, that announcer's got to go. He's talking badly about my pitcher. And is that where we're headed? Is that where we're headed in sports? I'd be interested to know. Do you think this is something you could see if regional sports networks go under and teams start running all their own broadcasts and we start seeing more of this? Or is it just a one-off and the Orioles are crazy? Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.